It all started out so simple. A man with a dream of bringing dinosaurs back to life and exhibiting them in a park for the world to see. But in the 32 years since the original Jurassic Park film, the franchise's lore has become as complex as a strain of dino DNA. Let's take a look back at the complicated 65 million 32-year history of the Jurassic franchise.
Life, finds a way.
Let's start roughly 65 million years ago when dinosaurs ruled the Earth. Long before mutant dinosaurs, cloned humans, giant flaming locusts, and Jimmy Buffett, a mosquito landed on a dinosaur, sucked its blood, then got trapped in amber for millions of years. At some point between 93,000 BC and 1993, John Hammond has the idea to bring dinosaurs back to life. He secures a group of investors, establishes a company called Engine, and recruits a bunch of scientists to figure it out. They take the aforementioned mosquito, extract the dinosaur blood from it, and use it to get an almost complete strain of dinosaur DNA. With the DNA, they use cloning technology to hatch real, live dinosaurs. Then they took the mosquito and stuck it on the end of Hammond's cane. John Hammond is an odd guy. Sweet, but odd. Childlike. Brilliant in that kind of dumb way, and a little creepy.
I insist on being here when they're born.
At first, Hammond planned on opening a smaller version of Jurassic Park in California, but eventually he landed on building a safari-style park on the Central American island of Isla Nublar. Everything is going as planned until a worker at the site gets killed by a velociraptor. Investors in suits start getting nervous. They want Hammond to have some kind of dinosaur experts sign off on the park before opening day. Hammond's lawyer brings in mathematician and chaos theory expert Ian Malcolm, while Hammond himself recruits paleobotanist Ellie Sattler and her partner, professional paleontologist and amateur child terrifier Alan Grant.
You are alive when they start to eat you.
Meanwhile, disgruntled Hammond employee Dennis Nedry is participating in a little corporate espionage. Nedry meets with Lewis Dodgson, who works for rival dinosaur realiving company Biosyn. Dodgson wants Nedry to smuggle dino embryos out of Jurassic Park in a souped-up Barbasol can. Nedry is downright squeaky to do so.
It's great. It's cool to compartmentalize inside.
Hammond and the gang arrive on Isla Nublar, where Grant, Sattler, and Malcolm get their first look at living dinosaurs before going on an Epcot Center-style attraction explaining how the dinosaurs were brought back to life. The group meets Dr. Wu, a scientist who for sure won't become vitally important later on, who explains just how safe this whole operation is. Ian is not having it. He thinks this whole thing is a bad idea.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Grant also has concerns upon learning one of the species at Jurassic Park are velociraptors. Nonetheless, they embark on a tour of Jurassic Park along with Hammond's grandchildren because, as we'll continue to learn over the course of this franchise, you can't go to Dinosaur Murder Island without bringing at least one kid. With the clock ticking, Nedry has to act fast to get the embryos and get the hell out of there. He temporarily disables the security system for most of the island, allowing him to sneak into the lab and take the embryos. He jumps in a jeep and takes off for the boat. Getting lost along the way, Nedry comes face to face with a venom-spitting Dilophosaurus. Nedry is killed, and the Barbasol can gets buried in mud. Now look, I understand the need to have one Tyrannosaurus Rex in your dinosaur zoo, and the Velociraptors probably didn't seem that bad before they grew up, and even forgetting to question how they had any idea what dinosaur would spring from the blood of a Cretaceous-era fly, but why on earth would you bring back a dinosaur that spits venom? That wacky John Hammond.
You crazy son of a bitch.
With the security system down, just about the worst thing that could happen does. The T-Rex escapes. We finally get to meet the real star of the franchise. The lawyer gets eaten while he sits on a toilet, and it's all downhill from there. Eventually, the raptors get out as well, and people start dying left and right. Chaos has broken loose. Ian Malcolm is as right as he is sexy. The Raptors turn out to be super smart and manage to corner Grant, Sattler, and the kids until the T-Rex saves the day just in the nick of time. Hammond learns his lesson about playing God and takes one last look at Jurassic Park before escaping the only way rich men ever do, on a helicopter.
After careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park.
So have I.
The special effects were complex, but the story was not. Jurassic Park is a simple film with a simple story. The characters are easy to understand, and so are the lessons they learn. That's a big part of the film's broad appeal. That, and the amazing dinosaurs, of course. Unfortunately, no movie with Jurassic in the title would ever be this simple again. The Lost World Jurassic Park takes place 4 years after the events of the original Jurassic Park. A yacht carrying a family stops to have lunch on the coast of an island where a little girl is attacked by a group of even littler dinosaurs. An island with dinosaurs on it? Must be Isla Nublar. Did this family just stumble upon the remains of Jurassic Park? Nope. This is Isla Sorna, 87 miles southwest of Isla Nublar. Turns out there's not just one island full of dinosaurs, there's two. The island with the park on it, and a second island also owned by InGen, where they did the real dino dirty work. Following the best hard cut in Jurassic franchise history, we learn that Malcolm wrote a book about Jurassic Park, and nobody believes him. Hammond has been removed from his position at InGen by the board of directors due to the events of the first film. However, he is still trying to save the dinosaurs on the second island, and he thinks he can do this by sending a group of people to document the dinosaurs. Hammond wants Ian in that group, but why on earth would Malcolm go to another dinosaur island after what happened last time? Because that darn John Hammond has already sent Ian's girlfriend there. Malcolm heads to Site B, but not before his daughter Kelly can stow away. Once arriving on Isla Sorna, Malcolm's group learns that they are not the only humans there.
There haven't been any visitors to this island. There's no reason for it to fear man.
No, shows.
This group of G.I. Joe rejects is led by the new head of InGen, Peter Ludlow, who happens to be John Hammond's nephew. Ludlow has all the Hammond stupidity without any of the childlike wonder or compassion. Ludlow has brought back Hammond's original idea of Jurassic Park San Diego. Him and his gang of mercenaries are on the island to capture as many dinosaurs as they can to ship off to California for the new park, and they don't care how many dinos they hurt while doing so. And because this is a sequel, we now have 2 full-grown Tyrannosaurus and a T-Rex baby.
Oh, hi! How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm the baby, brand new, just out. Gotta love me. Come on, gotta love me.
Bad guys injure the baby T-Rex's leg, the good guys fix its leg, and Mommy and Daddy Rex come looking for the baby. Soon enough, the base camps and communication methods of both groups are destroyed, forcing them all to team up in order to survive the lost world they are now stuck in. The bad guys get picked off one by the raptors, while Malcolm's daughter Kelly actually kills a velociraptor by using gymnastics. She becomes the first human in the Jurassic franchise to kill a dinosaur, which could make her the first person in the entire history of mankind to kill a dinosaur. Certainly the first to do it with gymnastics outside of a controlled laboratory environment. Some dinosaurs managed to escape Kelly's gymnastic assault, including the mother and child T-Rex, who were loaded on a boat and shipped off to San Diego. But the Rexes eat everyone on the boat, causing it to crash into the dock once it reaches the California coast. Mama T-Rex comes ashore to spend a port day in the Golden State. She terrorizes a human child, eats the film's screenwriter, and throws a bus into a Blockbuster Video, where we see advertisements for films like Robin Williams in Jack and the Beanstalk, Schwarzenegger in King Lear, and a Tom Hanks surf picture, Tsunami Sunrise. They use the baby T-Rex to lure the adult dino back to the boat, where it eats Ludlow before sailing off back to Isla Sorna. The Lost World ends with Hammond going on CNN to tell the world that there is, in fact, an island full of real-live dinosaurs, and then asking politely that you please don't go there. That, of course, doesn't work at all.
Oh my God!
Jurassic Park III opens with a guy taking a kid parasailing over Isla Sorna on a dinosaur sightseeing tour that it does not end well. We catch up with Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler, who are no longer together. Ellie has a kid and a husband who works for the State Department. Alan has continued his research in velociraptors, but prefers working with the dead ones these days, because the live ones, well, they've started talking to him.
Alan,
Parents of the parasailing kid find Grant and persuade him to accompany them to Isla Sorna by offering Alan his second favorite green thing, money. They set out on the island to find the lost boy who has somehow managed to survive amongst the dinosaurs for 8 weeks despite having no gymnastics training that we know of. They meet a dinosaur that's even bigger and badder than the T-Rex, the Spinosaurus. It eats one of their crew members along with their satellite phone, and somehow the Spinosaurus ends up getting better reception in its belly than I do in my apartment. The Spinosaurus eventually poops out the phone, and Grant uses it to call Ellie's 3-year-old son, who communicates to his mom that Dinosaur Man needs help. Ellie calls in the Army and the Navy, and everyone is saved. So, the first Jurassic trilogy comes to an end, and with it, ends these movies having anything to do with real-life dinosaurs. Like any good piece of science fiction, the first Jurassic trilogy is rooted somewhat in science fact. In between the release of the first 2 films, Dolly the sheep became the first mammal to be successfully cloned, making the Jurassic films feel just a little bit more real. And for the most part, the dinosaurs in the first Jurassic trilogy act like real animals. Sure, the raptors can open doors, but I had a dog in college that could bring me a beer from the fridge, and fridges have doors, my friends. The dinosaurs of Jurassic Park have more in common with the shark from Jaws than the dinosaurs of Jurassic World. Any hint of realism is replaced with movie monsters, some of which come dangerously close to the B-movie variety, with most just having
more teeth. Welcome to Jurassic World.
The park is open. Having learned nothing from the past, Simon Masrani acquires InGen and finally opens a dinosaur theme park to the public, turning Hammond's dream into a reality and eventually a nightmare. The park is run by Claire Deering. For reasons never explained, Claire believes the children are bored with regular dinosaurs, despite being surrounded by kids going absolutely apeshit over dinosaurs every day. She's working on getting corporate sponsorship for bioengineered mutant hybrid dinosaurs. First one being the Indominus Rex, sponsored by Verizon Wireless, the same company with which I have shitty reception in my apartment. The Indominus Rex is the latest creation from former eraser-wielding star of just that one scene turned mustache-twirling maniac, Dr. Wu. It becomes very clear very quickly that the Indominus was a bad idea. Claire turns to dinosaur trainer Owen Grady, who she once dated, for help with the Indominus. I like to think their first date was at the Jurassic World Margaritaville, but that's just my own personal fanfic, it's not canonical. Owen has been training a squad of velociraptors and has formed a real bond with them, especially his boy Blue, who's a girl. They're all girls. The extra deadly, super intelligent Indominus Rex outsmarts the guards like he's Andy Dufresne and escapes into a park full of tourists. Oh, and this also happens to be the same day Claire's nephews are visiting the park. Soon enough, chaos breaks loose once again. Dinosaurs die, tourists die, Masrani dies, Claire and Owen kiss and her nephews die of embarrassment. More dinosaurs break loose and Claire's assistant is picked up by a pterosaur that is then eaten by the Mosasaurus, creating the Jurassic version of a problematic turducken. A Mosasaurosapien, maybe. Look, the point is, she was just stressed out about her wedding and she didn't deserve to go out that hard. Blue and the other raptors fight the Indominus, but they are no match against the genetically mutated monster. Just when it looks like all hope is lost, the hero of the first Jurassic trilogy makes their triumphant return.
Alan!
No, not Alan Grant. It's the OG JP T-Rex. The Tyrannosaurus teams up with the Raptors and the Mosasaurus to take down the Indominus and save Owen, Claire, and her nephews. Claire learns her lesson about playing God, and the T-Rex takes one last look at the, all things considered could have been worse, Jurassic World. In the immortal words of Samuel L. Jackson, hold on to your butts, because this is where things take a real turn. A once dormant volcano on Isla Nublar is once again active, and unfortunately, I'm not talking about the volcano nachos at the Jurassic World Margaritaville. The island is about to blow, and dinosaurs are in danger of once again becoming extinct. Ian Malcolm, who never thought any of this was a good idea, thinks the world should just let the dinosaurs die. But Claire has other ideas. She has established the Dinosaur Protection Group to save the animals. Before she can save anything, though, she ends up at a spooky mansion in Northern California where she meets John Hammond's entirely unmentioned until right now former partner, Sir Benjamin Lockwood. I guess it was two men with two dreams all along. Lockwood and his aide, Eli Mills, reveal a plan to relocate the dinosaurs, but they need Claire to return to Jurassic World to use her handprint to reactivate the park's tracking system. So, away she goes, along with Owen, who is looking for Blue. Now, you're not going to believe this, but things go wrong and chaos ensues. Eli and his crew, turns out they're the bad guys. They aren't creating a dinosaur sanctuary like they claimed. They plan on bringing as many dinos as they can back to California to auction off at that creepy mansion. The island explodes and everyone barely escapes, but not before the bad guys shoot Blue. And this one dinosaur has the most hilariously tragic death. Back in California, we meet back up with Wu, who is being creepy in the basement of that creepy mansion, cooking up new creepy dinosaur hybrids like the Indoraptor. We also find out that Lockwood has a granddaughter, Maisie, who is a clone of Lockwood's actual daughter. What is it with fifth movies and cloned children? Is that a rule or something? They give Blue a blood transfusion with blood from the T-Rex. Eli Mills kills Lockwood, and the dinosaur auction begins. You still with me? Because I said dinosaur auction, and that turned out to be too much for a lot of the audience when this was in theaters, so okay. Well, anyway. Dinosaurs start breaking out and killing people, as they do. The Indoraptor chases Owen, Claire, and Maisie throughout the mansion until Blue makes the save. A cyanide gas leak threatens to kill the remaining caged dinosaurs, but Maisie, identifying with the dinosaurs as a clone herself, releases them out into the wild, which seems sweet, but wow, also seems like a terrible idea they'll need to follow up on with a whole other movie. And OG T-Rex returns once again, this time to eat Mills. Also, nobody learns a lesson about playing God in this one.
That is one big pile of shit.
It's now 4 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom, and dinosaurs are just all over the place. You can't even enjoy a drive-in movie in the not-too-distant future without a T-Rex showing up. The dinosaur black market has exploded with illegal breeding and trading. Amid the growing crisis, the government hands things over to InGen's main competitor, Biosyn, and its CEO, Louis Dodgson. Wait, who?
Dodgson! Dodgson! We've got Dodgson here!
Dodgson? We got Dodgson here? Again? That's right, Dodgson, the guy who gave Dennis Nedry the Barbasol can way back in the first movie, has returned.
Nobody cares.
And he even has the can. Dodgson is the bad guy of this movie, and it turns out kind of the whole franchise. Like if Hammerhead turned out to be the big bad of Rise of Skywalker.
Him?
That is, at least until the Netflix animated shows came along. Before we get too far into Dominion, it is important to note the Jurassic World animated series, Camp Cretaceous, and Chaos Theory are worth talking about. They act as the Andor to Jurassic World's Rogue One, taking place during and in between the Jurassic World movies. These shows fill in the gaps between the films and show events from the movies from different points of view. Are you interested in learning more about the underground dino trade? There are whole seasons about it. Do you want to see more of the corporate espionage between InGen and Biosyn? Then there's a few story arcs with your name on them, man. It's here that Louis Dodgson returns. We even find out how he got the Barbasol can back. These shows make the events of Dominion feel much more important and makes the ending of this trilogy a little more satisfying. But back in the Sierra Nevada mountains, Claire, Owen, and Maisie have been hiding out. After Blue manages to find them and introduces them to her baby, Beta, mercenaries kidnap Maisie and Beta. Trying to get them back, Owen gets into a fight at a dinosaur black market. And the Dilophosauruses show back up. We catch back up with Ellie Sattler, now divorced from her husband Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
researching giant locusts that are destroying crops, but not crops planted with biosyn seeds. She fears the whole food chain is about to be disrupted by biosyn and brings it to Alan Grant. They go to the biosyn sanctuary where they reunite with Ian Malcolm. We also find out Wu is there, and he's the one who created the locusts. And now it's time for Wu to learn his lesson about playing God. Finally, another God-playing lesson is learned after taking a break for one movie.
Is that a dinosaur on your shoulder? Yeah.
All the main characters of the Park and World trilogies finally meet. Then they all meet a really big dinosaur. And then that big dinosaur meets the real star, the Jurassic Park T-Rex, who saves the day once again. Dodgson is killed, Nedry style, while trying to escape. Beta is reunited with Blue, and we all learn how to live in harmony with the dinosaurs. The end.
Allie,
Yeah.
I am coming with you.
No threads left to pull on here. No, sir. No more islands to go to with even weirder mutated dinosaurs that hold some kind of key to heart disease or something that greedy people want to exploit because, like I said, everybody learned their lesson about playing God. So, what's your favorite installment in the Jurassic Park franchise? Is it a park or a world? No judgment either way, but there is a correct answer. Meanwhile, for all your other genetic tomfoolery, be sure to subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.